please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America,
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
My
Country, 'tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
David Williams has our invocation.
Bow our heads. Dear Lord, we come giving thanks for this food we're receiving, being in the company of so many good men and women in this room, and the many blessings you bestow upon us on a daily basis, Lord. We pray that you will continue blessing us, Lord, and continue to lead us and guide us in the way that you will see fit. We thank you and pray in your precious name. Amen.
And then David Williams also has our visiting Rotarians.
Today we have Floyd Lucas from the Tuesday Rotary Club.
Okay, how about guests of Rotarians from the dining room to my right? John?
President John, fellow Rotarians, I'm pleased to have as my guest today our new pastor at St. Luke's, new to Hickory and new to our church, Joe Westfall.
And down the center. All right, any guests to my left in the dining room? All right, welcome, Joe. All right then, John Milholland has our sunshine report.
With the governor here, we can still do reviews. Number one, we need to let everybody know, in case you missed it, Lenore Ryan College, congratulations to them. They've got another banner year with,
You got to practically swallow it.
yeah, they've got another banner year with a high enrollment, freshmen, parents, all of them. I did not get the birthdays. Anybody wants to admit they've got a birthday coming up?
Robert Block.
Robert Block has one. Anybody else?
Forrest Farrell has one on the 26th.
Forrest Farrell.
Pam Barber has one on the 28th. And Bill Caldwell, one of our 60-year plus members, has one on the 31st.
Congratulations to all of them. The thing today is the perks of being over the hill. There's nothing left anymore to learn the hard way. Things that you buy now won't wear out. Your supply of brain cells is finally down to a manageable size. You no longer think of the speed limit as a challenge. You can quit trying to hold your stomach no matter who walks into the room. Your secrets are safe with your friends because they can't remember them anyway. You can sing along with the elevator music. Your joints are more accurate neurologically than the guy on television. Your eyes won't get much worse. People call you at 9 p.m. and ask, did I wake you? And you can eat dinner at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
Thank you, John. So we'll get right to our program. Today we have a visit from our district governor, Gary Dills. Gary is a native of Franklin, North Carolina, and resides in Otto, North Carolina, with Nancy Lee, his wife, a native of Lincoln. He is the district governor for Rotary International District 7670, which includes Western North Carolina from Lake Norman to Murphy and from Boone to Tryon. He has served as president of the Rotary Club of Franklin, district finance chair, co-chair of the fundraising section of the District Foundation Committee, and District Chair of Operation Renewal, which assisted homeless veterans and their families. So now, please join me in our chorus as we welcome District Governor Gary. For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny.
Well, I'm gonna have to ask my wife about that. She may not agree. I hope you don't mind me just kind of walking around here. I'm sort of a real formal kind of guy. I'm here to thank you for doing everything that you do in this community. I really enjoyed meeting with your board. I told them that one of the best things about being district governor is you get out to meet the people who are actually doing the work. Rotary, after all, is a grouping of local clubs doing service in their community with an international focus. And that, you are the heart and minds of Rotary. So thank you for everything you do. I got a little video here I want to show you to kind of set the stage for my other comments, if it works. As I tried to say, Rotary is about helping people. The way we do that internationally is through our Rotary Foundation. This is the 100th year that our foundation has existed. We started with a contribution of $26.50 back in 1970. That foundation has grown to $1 billion today. That's a lot of money. What's really important, though, is that we have spent $3 billion of your contributions to do good around the world, in our own country and around the world. $3 billion. That's a lot of doing good in 100 years. We don't give our money to get it back, but we do get some of the money that you give back into the district. For every 3 years, you get 50% back of what you contributed 3 years prior. It comes in the form of district designated funds. We use portions of that for global grants and portions of that for district grants. This past year, as we developed the grants, I had $69,000 to distribute back to the clubs. You guys took that, 30 clubs who participated, 38 projects. They leveraged that $69,000 into $300,000 of projects in our community, so in Western North Carolina. $300,000 is not a big amount of money, but it's a lot of money in some of these small projects that you guys are doing. So take advantage, the message there is take advantage of the district grant process. You were at the last grant management seminar, that's the first requirement. Second requirement is have $100 per capita, and you'll do that, I'm sure, to the foundation. Every Rotarian, every year. I kind of got 2 crusades this year. One of them is, we got 400 people in the district who don't give to the Rotary Foundation. You may be one, I don't know. But if you are, I'm not going to pressure you, well, I will pressure you a little bit to give. but I want to really know why. Are we not telling the story on why we give money to the foundation? The money is important, but what the money does is the most important. So if you're one of those folks, talk to your foundation chairman, talk to your president, explain why, or talk to me, because we need to tell the story better if you don't get it. Because I see it as a fundamental obligation of a Rotarian. To make it easy, everybody allows debit on your credit card now, right? Rotary directs our method of doing that. I fought this initially, but it does make a lot of sense. The minimum is $10 a month. You go online, fill out a form, either one, and tell them what you want to contribute each month or each quarter, or ever how you want to do it. $10 a month is the minimum, but just because of the handling of it. If you want to be a Paul Harris Society person, that's $85 a month, give or take. Only warning is, if you start one and then you want to change it, like somebody did $25 a month and then wanted to change it to $85, well, it turned out I was paying about $120 a month. So you got to change the first one before you do it the second time. Easy to do. Polio. We've been talking about polio for what, 40 years almost? It's still not dead. 1979, we had 400,000 children, mostly children, in the world who contracted wild polio. Think of that. 400,000 kids that'll never walk again, never lead a normal life. 400,000 families. You're going to have to deal with that their entire lives. This past reporting period, 21 people, 21 kids actually, contracted wild polio. That's a significant improvement, 99.9% improvement. But not if you're one of those 21 kids, and not if you're one of those 21 families. This has been a long fight. People like me stand here and talk to you every year and say, hey, we need more money, we need more money, we need more money. We do. We're almost there. We had it down to 2 countries up until 2 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago. Now Nigeria has another case of wild polio, brought in by somebody from another country. It can happen here as well. If you know people who don't vaccinate, inoculate their children in some way for this disease, which there's no treatment for, I really encourage you to encourage them not to do that, because it's the child that will be harmed. This year, we're asking, John Jerem, our president, is asking us to contribute $2,650 per club in Rotary. That's a multiple, of course, of the $26.50. It's important to him because when he was a teenager, he's about 80-something now, when he was a teenager, his father contracted polio. So he's been working to fight polio his entire life. It's important, and it's important to the world. It's one of the presidential citation requirements, and I was telling a couple of you guys earlier, I need to probably send you another copy of the presidential citation and the pink pages so you guys can see these criteria, because they'll help you recognize your club. Polio, please help us kill this dog as soon as we can. CART. No offense to the young dog. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, where'd he go? I didn't really mean it, young lady. Sorry. I love you. Yeah, you don't have to hide. I'm not gonna hurt you. Let's talk about Alzheimer's then. I probably got some of this as well. Everybody in this room will be affected by Alzheimer's. Everybody. Either yourself, somebody in your immediate family, somebody in your extended family. It's one of those diseases that we've been, again, working on forever. Only one disease has ever been conquered in the history of mankind, smallpox. Polio's close. We're struggling with CART. Why do we do CART? To start with. Well, I like to tell a little story on myself, I guess. In my college days, when I was a graduate student in chemistry, I was doing research on lithium batteries. This is 40 years ago. Some of you weren't even born. And you know, we're still doing research on lithium batteries. It's not as dramatic as it was back then. But we couldn't get funding for our research if it weren't in a certain parameter. The companies wouldn't fund us. The National Science Foundation, National Chemistry Society, they wouldn't fund us. Alzheimer's the same way. The Center for Disease Control and the World Health Organization will not fund research unless there's somebody that's tried something in that area before. And I understand their reasoning. They don't want to spend millions of dollars on something that might not work. Well, we take it another look at that, a different look at that. CART says, hey, we want people, researchers, real researchers, not some yahoo like me, real researchers to look at this problem differently. This past summer, we gave $500,000 of your money to 4 researchers, and I couldn't stand here and tell you. I'm on the board, and I listened to them, but I had no idea what they were talking about, to tell you the truth. But the scientists who reviewed it said these things had some potential. One of these days, one of these guys that you're funding is going to find that aha moment, just like Jonas Salk did with polio. And we can begin to kill this disease. I didn't say no. To kill this disease. See the guy in the right-hand corner? His name's Charles Wolf. It is important that that is his name, but he's one of our 12 CART angels that we have spread around the district this year to make this a priority on fundraising. Every club's doing it differently. Somebody, I think Bill Shillito may be your CART angel. If he hasn't been here, he will. Please help us gain money. We want to raise the most money in this district we've ever raised for CART. One of my childhood friends is my district chairman for this. I wanted him to use a goal of $100,000, but he wouldn't do it. So, who am I to argue with him? He's older than I am, about that much. So I think our goal is $67,000. We ought to be able to do that quite easily. So what I would ask you to do, and ask each other to do, is to contribute to our charities. The Foundation, Polio Plus, and CART. Give what you can. Everyone in this room can afford to support these projects, every one of them. Commit to Rotary Direct. Your foundation chairman's going to thank you. Your treasurer's going to thank you. Your president's going to thank you. And the district foundation chair is going to thank you, because it makes life easy for everybody. And if you're interested in being a Paul Harris Society person, there's how you do it. $85. Quite easy. Most people can afford that as well. Let's talk about the celebration. 2 things I want to really talk about, the celebrations here. And our next international convention is in Atlanta in June of 2017. Anybody in here been to an international convention? Did it make an impact on your life? Did you appreciate Rotary more? It is a hard thing for me to describe. I've been trying to figure out how to talk about this. I don't know how to describe it. You go to one of these things and you see all kinds of people. They don't talk like me, they don't look like me, thank God, they don't dress like me. They're totally different kind of people when you look at them from the outside. But you get right down to it and you talk to them, they're just like us. They believe in helping their community, they believe in helping people. It is an amazing interaction with people from all around the world who you can barely communicate with, but you have that in common. Quick story. We were in Lisbon, I don't know, must have been the year before last, at the conference. My wife and I, frankly, were a little bored. We're going to play hooky. So I'm looking out off this portico and I see a boats down on a river, sailboats, and I love to go do that. So I say, hey, why don't we go down and see what these guys will do? Maybe we can go out on the river. Well, we did. Little thing. Had 9 people on it, I think. 6 Italians, my wife Nancy and myself, and the guy steering the boat. Nobody spoke English except us, and we weren't sure about ourselves, our capability in English. Do you know we had a great time? Everybody brought wine. The Italians had the best wine. Everybody, well, you figured it, right? We went out like at 5 o'clock, came back like 10 o'clock that night, just had a ball. had no clue what we were talking about. Because we were kind of the same people. That's the kind of stuff that happens at one of these things. And it's cheap, inexpensive, I shouldn't say cheap. I won't keep walking by you because I may take you home. $340 until the 15th of December, and then it goes up to $490. Incrementally, I think that there's an intermediate step there somewhere. Lisbon, for example, I believe our registration was around $700 apiece. So this is a great deal, and it's close. We're working on a bus schedule again. The first one, we didn't have, first call, we didn't have enough people to say yes. So we're looking at a new itinerary and a new timeline. We'll try it again. Give us a month or two to work with the contractor to see if they can do it. This one I'm really proud about. We have not done a district conference within the district conference in 20 years. Why? Because nobody would attend them. The one they did 20 years ago, nobody went. So I said, I'm going to try this again. And I wanted to do it, there's only two places you can really do it in the conference, and that's Asheville and Hickory. And I wanted to do it down east for a couple of selfish reasons. One, I want to get you guys involved again. Because frankly, I felt as I went around visiting clubs before, while I was a nominee and elect, that you guys kind of felt like you were left out of the district. It's not the case, but we sure made it look like that. So I kind of made it a mission to make this happen. And luckily, we were able to contract with the Crown Plaza. They gave us a great deal. The owner is daughter is a Rotarian. That might have had something to do with it. I'm not sure. I don't really care, but it worked out. We're going to do it on, make it kind of quick and inexpensive. On the 28th, we're going to have a youth day. We need volunteers to help us with that. Our YMCA changeover here in Hickory, those guys were all the leaders for this. And since that changeover, we really need a new group of people to do that. So if Jim Perry, chairman for this, gives you a call, please help him. Please say yes. Anyway, on Friday, we're going to do the youth conference, a little leadership thing in the morning for the interactors and RILA kids and whoever else you want to bring along, the clubs want to bring, young people under 18. Then the afternoon, we'll do a service project, probably a Feed the Hungry project, because it's easy. A lot of the churches do it, a lot of the other organizations do it, Rotary does it. We can make that work, we think. And then on Saturday, we're going to do the district conference, a one-day deal. Jim's got a whole bunch of things planned. I have no idea what they are yet, but we will know soon. The cost to you, and I'm almost afraid to say this, but I believe I can say this, the cost to you will only be for the cost of food and about $10 to offset the cost of the facility and some of the ancillary stuff that you have to do, you know, banners and decorations, stuff like that that the girls do that I have no idea what they're doing. You know, those kinds of things. So this should be certainly under $150 registration if you did Friday night's dinner, all day Saturday and Sunday morning. We're going to keep it as inexpensive and as useful to you as we can. If you don't come to this thing, we'll never do one again for 2 decades. I can almost guarantee it because that's been the history. So please, we need 300 people plus. Presidential citation pink pages, I'm not going to say too much about it, except these are 2 documents, one that the president of Rotary International promulgates to recognize the clubs and to give you some guidance on things you ought to do, or that he thinks is a focus for that Rotary year. They're really all quite doable, first time in many years. There's also a citation for interactive Rotary clubs. Do not forget to do those, and I will send your president and president-elect the new copies of all of these, just in case they got lost along the way. District citations, the same thing. I wrote the initial draft of this 5 years ago, and each district governor since then has been using this draft with alterations, of course. We think it's a standard. If you took that when you're planning your Rotary year, and I was telling him earlier, if you take the one that exists now, you start planning your Rotary year for next year, you will have head and shoulders start over everybody, because it's broken down in all the categories that we do, the service, gives you some things to do. You'd be surprised how many you already do. You might be surprised to see things that you do that you might not want to do, which is almost as important, because you can't overdo people. We've made it easier for competitiveness. Now, you guys are in that largest category with 8 other clubs. I believe there's 9 in that large category. So my club is one of those, so you got a rough row to hoe, John, but you can give it a shot. Second's not bad, give it a shot. Or you might be first. Enough said. I want to talk a little bit about membership. You guys, like everybody else, has a problem with membership. Rotary governors, 25 years ago, were standing in front of you saying, we got 1.25 million people and we've got a problem with membership. I'm standing before you today to say we got 1.25 million people, we got a problem with membership. We're doing something wrong. We're bringing in, and we brought in about 1.25 million over the last 20 years, and we've lost about 1.25 million. Perhaps we haven't changed with the times. That seems to be the case based on the surveys. The council legislation gives us a way to adapt. Nobody's I'm not gonna come in here, maybe somebody might, come in here and ask you to change your club. I would never do that. This is your club, you do what you want to. But if you want to grow members, or perhaps you got membership leaving who can't do this lunch meeting, they might be more comfortable with a Friday afternoon meeting. Happens in my club. You can do a satellite club, a thing we call a satellite club. There's no mystery to this. It's an adjunct. It's an adjunct of this club. Group of people says, hey, in my club's example, we have 12 people said, I can't make it to lunch. My attendance is abysmal. What can I do? I got to go to another club. We don't want them to go to another club. So we chartered a satellite club. I think it's 12 people. The charter is just a piece of paper, you know, not a big deal. They meet on Friday nights. They go between breweries and restaurants. They have normal programs once or twice a month. They do a service project once a month and as one of their weeks. And they do a fellowship once a month or so. The only requirement that Rotary International has for anything much anymore is that you meet twice a month in some function, in some manner, and that you pay your dues, of course. The rest is up to you on how you want it. What's your attendance requirement? What's your frequency of meeting? What kind of meeting do you do? I firmly believe that you need to have meetings because of some kind, whether it's a service project, a fellowship, or this. Because part of Rotary is networking and all the friends that you have in this club. Take a look at what you're doing and see if this works for you, or it might work. It's a great way to bring in young people, by the way. Did a survey back in June of people who left Rotary to try to find out why did they leave. And we asked a professional to do this, not amateurs like myself. This was a professionally done survey. 3 things came out as big negatives. Cost was not the cost of the foundation, polio, and CARP. Not that. Not giving to local charities. It was a cost of membership and eating meals that they didn't eat. My club, $200 a quarter, whether you're there or not. Most of that is meal cost. That was a negative. If that applies, look at ways to get around it. State procedures. Some people don't like singing. Some people love singing. Some people don't like whatever. You want to keep your club lively and welcoming. And there are ways to do that, but not unless you look at yourself. I've been beating up on my club for 2 or 3 years on this, to just look at ourselves and see what we're doing. How does somebody else see us? We know how we see us. How does somebody else see us? You might be surprised. Time. Didn't care about the time serving. We'd go out and dig ditches, work in the soup kitchen, pack the bags, whatever it took. We don't mind that. What we do mind is having endless meetings with no decisions and those kinds of things. Some clubs have decided they're going to do one meeting a month to have committee meetings and board meetings all at the same time. They just vary in their locale, they vary where they sit, and they have their meetings. There's all kinds of permutations to this. Look at how you're doing your process and see if there's anything that you can improve. Maybe not, but maybe so. We've got a new survey out to current members. Last I looked, which is the day before yesterday, we had 440 responders. That's about 20% on a survey. If you've ever done a survey, anything over 10% is excellent. So I'm very interested to see what the number crunchers come up with on what the responses really mean. Things to think about. When you're looking for potential members, I don't know why Stan became a Rotarian. I know why Gary became a Rotarian, because service is what I've done my whole life. Scouts on up, since as long as I can remember. That's what we did. And that's why I joined Rotary. Well, why do you stay in Rotary? I stay in Rotary because of service, but because of the fellowship as well. Those two things are kind of key, I think, to why we are Rotarians. Why a young person might want to come into Rotary, that might be two of the factors. I think being part of community leadership. Look around the room. If you're anybody in Hickory, you're in this room, right? Or one of the other clubs. You are the community leadership. A youngster with a new business or new operation in town, they want to be part of community leadership. And one way they can do that is to be here among you. That is a motivator, I think, for some people. Networking is kind of the same thing. I'm able to sell plumbing supplies to the guy that's building houses. Probably both of you in here. And when it gets right down to it, why are you a Methodist? Why are you a Presbyterian? Why are you a Baptist? Why are you a Rotarian or Alliance? It's kind of like being with people that think like you do. May not look like you do, but they think like you do. That's comforting, and it also helps everybody do a better job, I think. So as you talk to people, I know this may be a little esoteric, but when you talk to people, these are the kind of things I talk to prospective members about. This is why I'm a Rotarian. You can't tell them why they ought to be one. You can tell them why you are one, and let them extrapolate. Now I want to end, and hopefully I'm on time, with a couple of comments from someone I've grown to love, actually. Rotary International President John German from over in Chattanooga. This man, I don't really know how old he is, to be impolite to ask, 80-something, early 80s. We're down in Jamaica back in June. It's 100 degrees, literally, in the shade. We're digging up a peace garden in this children's home. We started about 7:30, 8 o'clock that morning. We finished, 1 or 2 o'clock that afternoon. He was out there digging with us the whole time. We were, pickaxing, shoveling, hauling dirt. He was right there among us. He's not one of these guys that stands up and just does it for a photo op. This guy is a believer. Clip I'm going to play you is from his charge to us, the 532 governors around the world, as we're preparing to take on to be governors. This was back in January. So, John Jerk.
And every day that you serve Rotary, you have that opportunity to change lives. Those opportunities may look small. You might think sometimes it really doesn't matter. But you're not small, and everything you do matters, especially to the people you help and the people you love, in this generation and the next and the next. Because every good work you do in your life makes the world better for them all. One good work at a time, one day at a time, that's all it takes. That's what we're here for at Rotary. That's what we do. And next year, it's going to be your and my responsibility to make sure that we do it well. To make sure that Rotary serves humanity as much as it can, as well as it can. And that Rotary changes as many lives as it can for the better. So that the mothers who are still carrying water on their heads, and the girls who have to leave school, and every one of the world's children who are still at risk for polio, see their world change for the better next year because of Rotary serving humanity. because each one of you saw a great opportunity, and you took it. Thank you. God bless you.
And thank you for bearing with me. Questions, comments, or snide remarks? Thank you. I appreciate all you do, and I appreciate, yes, sir.
You use the term wild polio?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Well, it's a virus that exists in the wild. There is a minuscule opportunity, chance, to take polio from the vaccine, and that is a contained polio, not a wild polio. It's a minor difference, but it's a difference, and so that's what we say. The places that these things, I don't know how many people have been in Nigeria and Afghanistan and Pakistan, but I've been in 2 of the 3 of them, and I don't really want to live there. You cannot believe the conditions that people live in around the world. We consider we have a poverty issue in the United States. We have no idea, just no idea. If you haven't been on a church mission or a Rotary project somewhere overseas, or a military one for that matter, you really cannot appreciate the conditions of people around the world. One quick story, I know John's trying to get me off the stage, and he will. One quick story again. My first experience outside the United States was in Chad, somewhere in the early 70s. If I had to describe Chad, it's a large sand pit with fleas, all kinds of flying things. I have no idea what they were, but they bit. Starving people, very little water, very little food. We were there to feed their animals, to deliver grain and hay to their cattle so these people could survive. I was in Haiti not that long ago, less than 10 years ago now. Almost the same condition, except masses of people. The bottom line is, there's lots of people out there who need help, here in our community and worldwide. That's what the foundation does. That's what you do. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nigger. Frank Young is over here. He's got a little something to tell us.
Blood drive. It is September 22nd. The sign-up sheet is right over here, so if you haven't signed up yet, please do so. 1 to 6 at St. Luke's. Thank you.
Thanks, Frank. Sandy, 30 seconds.
Sorry, Sandy.
That's okay. We're going to be talking about Rotarian Idol next week. Lynn and I have been working this summer trying to organize everything, and we're really excited to share with you our income and what we've accomplished last year, and encourage you to join us. On your table, you will see a list of the various committees that we have and a brief description of those committees. We want you to think about them and see which one fits your talent and you're willing to serve on, and we'll talk about this next week. What's the date? March 18th.
Thank you very much, Sandy. Leslie, if I can have your assistance up front, please. We're short of time, so we're not going to go through the whole bit. You gave us a great message. Thank you very much. And actually, I have some things for you. Our club banner.
Thank you.
A 4-way test coin.
Thank you.
And my contribution, I rounded it up, $26.50 for the Rotary, well, $27 for the Rotary Foundation.
And if I might make the contribution to the park.
Certainly.
That's right?
Yes.
Okay, so I would like to contribute this back to your card fund. Thank you.
I promised a door prize drawing today. And so, let's see, pick a name for me.
Random?
At random.
Thomas Griffiths.
Thomas Griffiths. Thomas Griffiths, I have for you 2 passes for the Carmike Movie Theater. Next.
All right, Meg Law.
Meg Locke, I have for you a Christmas concert CD from the Hickory Choral Society. Next.
Yay.
Uh,
Robert Law, no, I'm kidding.
Please be Groucho's.
Okay, yeah. Philip Reed.
Philip Reed, gift certificate for you for Highland Avenue Restaurant.
Wow.
Next.
Bill Miller Zarell.
Bill, we have for you a gift bag from the North. It's a North Carolina lottery bag, but it's a gift from the Crawdads.
That's nice. Steve Mull.
Steve Mull gets a Christmas CD from the Hickory Choral Society.
Okay, Bill Long.
Bill Long. Bill Long gets a gift certificate for a Masterworks concert from the Western Piedmont Symphony.
Doug Rongo.
Doug Rongo. Doug Rongo gets a gift certificate for 2 tickets for the opening of The Wiz at Hickory Theater.
David Williams.
David Williams. David Williams gets a gift certificate from Exodus Works. I believe that's for a lawn
A premium car detail.
premium car detailing. Just point.
Okay, Tony Reed.
Tony Reed, a gift certificate for Groucho's.
Clem Geithner.
Glenn Geithner gets a gift certificate for 2 tickets to the opening of Junk at the Hickory Community Theater. I got one more.
Okay. Frank Young.
Frank Young gets a Fitbit wireless wristband. Grand prize for today. All right.
Let me go get my time.
Okay, and this was the, we drew the raffle ticket.
We got
Okay.
24 cards, 1 joker, $1,778 in the pot.
And the winning ticket is 3482861. 2861 is the last 4 numbers. Bill! Mr. Bill.
I'll take it.
I've got it. I'm required to verify. There we go. And it.
What? Are
You got it.
serious?
Right. I want to thank our visiting Rotarians and guests for joining us today. Please come back. A reminder about 2 important dates. The first is September 1st. That's Club Picture Day Makeup. If you did not have your club photo taken by Bob Huffman on May 26th, makeup date is scheduled for September 1st. This is your last chance to have an updated photo for the club directory. Bruce Bumbarger told me that he has made arrangements with the DMV to get your photo from them if you do not have your photo taken. And on picture day, please comb your hair and wear a clean shirt. And Bob Huffman, photographer, is the spouse of Susan Huffman, one of our Rotarians. And okay, don't forget your cart buckets. Please drop in your spare change, folding money, negotiable stock certificates, and fine jewelry. And now, please join me in the 4-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do, is it true? Is it fair?